everyone. Welcome to This Day. It is Tuesday today, and it is October 19th. Now, we do have a meeting to tell you about this morning at 9:30 or immediately following. Our broadcast this morning is the United Board meeting, and like I mentioned, that'll be at 9:30 this morning or immediately following our broadcast, so stay tuned for that. If you wanted to watch it here on Channel 6, of course, that will appear at 9:30. However, if you would like to watch it online, you can always go to lagunawoodsvillage.com/meetings, and you can also email them as well as phone in any questions that you might have. All right, on our show today, we have Harvard Eye with Dr. Hovhanessian, and we talk about a new eye drop, believe it or not, and I really like this. I think you will too. Then we also have Southern Orange County Community College District with Tim Jamal, and he tells us all about what's going on there, and the new stadium has been completed, and he'll tell us all about that. All right, let's go to our resources that we normally give you for COVID-19. You can go to covid19.ca.gov for the governor's ideas and plans, and you can go to ochealthinfo.com to get all the COVID numbers by city, or you can call our hotline at 714-834-2000. Of course, you could always go to our website, which is lagunawoodsvillagealerts.com, to get all the local information. And if you have any questions or concerns, you could always email them to info@lagunawoodsvillage.com. Now, this week, we are looking at a heat advisory, and I found this slide, and I thought this was really some very good information for you. A couple of things: never leave kids or pets unattended in vehicles. Avoid strenuous activity outside, especially during the hottest part of the day. Avoid consumption of alcohol and caffeine. Drink extra water. Keep your pets indoors, and wear lightweight, light-colored, and loose clothing. So that heat advisory, as I mentioned, will go through Friday. Let's take a look at our temperatures. Very hot this week, and doesn't seem to be letting up. So we're looking at about a high today of about 94-67. Tomorrow, 91-65. Thursday, 95-68. Friday, 94-66. Yeah, sunshine, staying cool, 90-62 on Saturday. So we are looking at some very warm temperatures, so try to stay as cool as possible. Our sunrise this morning was 6:55, and our sunset will be 6:19. Alan, thank you for sending in Percy. How cute is that name? I love that little puppy. Thank you for sending that in, Alan Clark. And if you have a photo of a beloved pet, or maybe an animal you saw out in the wild, or maybe at the zoo, please send it to us. Email it to lagunawoodsvillagetv@gmail.com. All right, when we return, we will have Harvard Eye, so stay tuned.
As a friendly reminder, cast your third mutual ballot by using a dark pen to fill in the oval. Place your ballot in the secret ballot envelope. Then, insert into the yellow postage-paid return envelope and seal. On the back of the yellow envelope, sign your name. Mail in plenty of time to arrive before November 2nd. Or hand deliver to the Community Center ballot box by November 2nd. This is an important election proposition. Please vote.
Welcome back. Well, today I am joined by Dr. Hovhanessian, who is here from Harvard Eye. Well, Doctor, thank you for joining me. It's nice to see you again.
It is great to see you as always.
Well, this is an interesting subject because I always thought that when you have a droopy eyelid, and it can cause some vision issues, that most people would just have it operated on and then be done with it. But some people probably can't do that. So this is an interesting subject matter. So tell me what we're talking about.
Well, so droopy eyelids are a very common problem as we have more birthdays. Unfortunately, what happens in the body as we age is that everything becomes a little more stretched out and loose. How can I say this nicely? And so our eyelids, can change. And most of us, our eyelids, come down just a little bit over time because of changes in the connective tissue. Sometimes there's also excess folds of skin that can weigh them down. And sometimes our whole brow, our eyebrows hang lower than they used to because of laxity in the skin of our forehead that happens as we age. And all of these can contribute toward droopy eyelids. And the definite surgical treatment we use depends upon what mix of causes are. But one really neat thing that we have now is an eye drop that helps treat droopy eyelids. That's what we're going to talk about today.
So interesting that just a liquid could pretty much lift your eye. I mean, that seems impossible to me. So
how would it work?
What?
How would it work? That's the question.
It's like, how would that possibly work? So tell me how it works.
Well, so it's called Upneeq, 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 and we have no financial interest in this product, but our patients certainly are interested in it because it addresses a problem that we haven't had an eye drop for before. Well, the muscles that lift the eyelid are, underneath the eyelid and up above. And it turns out that putting an eye drop in the eye can get enough medicine up underneath the eyelid to get very close to these muscles and then to affect them and to cause about a millimeter and a half lift. And so a lot of folks don't have, really noticeably droopy eyelids. They have just a little bit. We've got a picture of a patient who has particularly one eye. If you look at this patient, the eye shown on the right of the picture is the patient's left eye. And that is a little bit more heavy. It's a little bit lower on the eye compared to the right if you look back and forth.
Yeah.
And that's, about a millimeter of difference. Not a huge amount, but it's enough that it makes her appearance not completely symmetrical, does it? Well, it turns out that if you put a drop of Upneeq in just that eye, we have an after picture as well, it'll lift it up, and that will significantly alter the way it looks. I think if you look in the after picture, you'll see a lot more symmetry. It looks like your two eyes are very similar. We see this a lot for reasons that we don't always know why one eye is different from another, but as our faces age, things aren't as symmetrical as they were. And if both eyes are a little bit droopy, it'll lift them both. In this case, the patient just uses it in one eye. But it's a fascinating new offering that we now have for our patients.
So tell me how, I mean, I understand that it's lifting the muscle underneath. I mean, it almost sounds like a Botox kind of thing.
Yeah, except Botox, of course, relaxes muscles, and this actually stimulates a muscle. It's called Mueller's muscle underneath the eyelid that lifts the eyelid about a millimeter and a half. In our practice, this is mostly prescribed by our oculoplastic specialist, whose name is Jeff Jacobs. And he is also the one who performs surgery. How well does it work? It seems to work very well. That's a question that we get periodically. And there are enough samples of it floating around that we can let people try it before we prescribe it. Typically, you put in a drop and it will work for anywhere from 4 to 8 hours. And most often close to 8 hours. And so if you're going out for the evening, or if you're going to be photographed, or you put it in once at home and you're done with it for the day. So it seems to work well.
Any side effects?
Yeah, it's a great question. Theoretically, there are. One of the nice things about eye drops is that it's a tiny dose of medication. And so there's not a huge amount that's put into the body. It is a stimulant, and so it can raise blood pressure if yours is borderline. Most people just kind of monitor their blood pressure when they start it, and most do not find that it has any major impact on it. It can also cause some irritation to the eye and blurring of vision, but so far we've really not had any significant complaints from patients about that. So a fairly safe drug to use.
Is it something that if you're considering, or let's say if you're considering eye surgery for droopy eyelid, or I guess, or you're just kind of tired of the way it's looking, or I'm really not clear, when would be the best time to actually look into something like this?
These are great questions. And for each patient, things are a little differently. So the before and after picture we showed was someone who, just like a lot of our viewers, has one eye that's a little different from the other. And when she wants to look her best, she puts it in, and it makes her appear symmetrical the way she wants to be. Other patients might have a lot of drooping of their eyelids, and this might just help a little bit. And they might say, well, it's good, but I'd rather have surgery to have a definite fix. And then still, I have other patients who have eyelids that are heavy, but they also have dry eye. And if you have significant dry eye, lifting the eyelids with surgery can actually cause that to be worse in some cases. This is why you want to see a doctor who's really comfortable and specialized, like our Jeff Jacobs is in doing this type of surgery. But for some of those patients, we say, you know, you're maybe not a perfect candidate for having surgery, but you could use Upneeq as often as you wish, and then you have the look you want. And if it does cause some dry eye, it'll only be temporary, because once the drop wears off, the medicine wears off. And so, you know, the eyelids go back to the way they were.
Man, that is really great. So how would somebody go about coming in to talk to you guys about how to use this?
And so it's a prescription item, and so you would see your eye doctor to evaluate you and see if you're appropriate for it. In our practice, that would generally be with Jeff Jacobs. As I said, he's our oculoplastic specialist. I wanted to bring it on the show today because it is a brand new drug. It is now available, and we have had a lot of interest from patients in it. And so we just wanted to help educate your viewers about this.
You can see it working right away, right?
You see it, yeah. Within just a few minutes, it starts to work. And you know what I've seen in patients is after about 30 minutes, it reaches its peak effect. So when you're getting dressed and getting ready to go where you're going, that's a perfect time to put it in.
Oh, it's wonderful. Well, thank you so much for the new information. I think a lot of people will be excited about this.
That's a really interesting new thing. We keep seeing wonderful advances in medicine and in eye care in particular. And this is one that, I'm kind of excited about, because for a lot of our patients who either don't want surgery or maybe aren't quite ready for it yet, it really gives them a nice benefit. So we're excited to offer it to our patients.
That's just great. Well, thank you so much. It was very nice to talk to you again.
Great to see you too.
All right. We'll see you soon.
Stay well. Have a good fall, and we'll see you soon. Yeah.
And we'll be right back after this.
At Harvard Eye, we're so happy to be open again to see you for all your medical and surgical eye care. We're taking great care to protect everyone from COVID-19 by seeing fewer patients, spacing out chairs in our lobby, sanitizing our office constantly, and doing much more. The world is changing a lot, but what hasn't changed is we're honored by your trust and confidence and committed to keeping you safe. We can't wait to see you.
Welcome back. Well, today I am joined by Tim Jamal, and he's here on behalf of the South Orange County Community College District. Well, thank you for joining us. How have you been?
I've been doing well, considering. Thank you for asking. How have you been?
Good, good. I'm sure things have, vastly changed since the last time we spoke, and everybody's been trying to adjust. But tell me a little bit about what's going on in the district.
Wow, there's a lot going on. There's some empty space at the same time, so I think you can understand that. Well, last spring, when the COVID virus really spiked across the country and here in Orange County as well, we were in mid-semester at Saddleback College and Irvine Valley College, and in fact, I was actually taking a course myself in film study. So I witnessed firsthand this unbelievable transition that was made mid-semester. Literally over 3,000 courses were transitioned in 1 week from in-person to online. And I just happened to see it firsthand, having been a student in one of our courses. And I will say this, that it was amazing what our faculty did. Many of them had not taught before an online course. Of course, a handful had hybrid courses and had been teaching online, but most of our classes and sections are in person. Mm-hmm. And to do it on a week's notice was really amazing, and to see it. And I was really, I really felt great about what our faculty did, but I also felt really good about our students, because I was a student as well, and they were calm. They handled it with poise. No one panicked. I think they preferred to be in class, and having sat next to them for 4 weeks and then the last 4 weeks being apart, I think the students handled it extremely well. And I was really impressed with that transition.
So obviously, since then, they've all been online. And now what's happening moving forward?
So most of our classes are still in the fall are still online. There are a small handful of labs and other classes where they can come on campus with proper social distancing, but the overwhelming majority of classes, over 95%, remain online. And so that is, I mean, the campus is technically closed to the public, but open to students and certain faculty and staff who need to get on campus. But that's the current situation. It's a challenge. It really is. It is a challenge to make that adaptation because some courses are not as conducive to online instruction as others. For instance, labs are not. Chemistry courses that require hands-on nursing we have the second-ranked nursing program in the country here at SADDLEBACK College, and so not having the ability to do the things they need to do in person with as you can imagine, being a nurse, having to give a flu shot online is really challenging.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. But you guys were able to secure an awful lot of PPE stuff, though. So is that helpful? And is that being used for teachers, or what's that doing?
So we've been able to secure I think over 40,000 surgical masks. And some of the PPEs come from the state to the community colleges and to SADDLEBACK College and Irvine Valley College. Mm-hmm. So those have been distributed to faculty and staff, our employees and students. Mm-hmm. And that's continuing. That's an ongoing process. So we will continue to evaluate if we need additional PPE. But I think for now, of course, at the beginning, no one was really ready and prepared for the distribution of PPE that was needed. But I think right now we are stocked and are able to provide what is needed at the moment.
Perfect. Well, that's good. You were able to adapt and get what you needed, and you can just kind of take things from here. Some exciting news. You guys have your stadium is almost completed, or is it completed?
Yeah. So it is completed. So we've recently signed off on the completion of the stadium, and this is decades in the process. So the former stadium, and I being very generous when I'm calling it a stadium, the former area where we used to have a stadium was put in place decades ago, over 40 years ago. Yeah. So we were in dire need for a new stadium complex. And so I'm really pleased, as you just mentioned, that we have finally completed construction. It's an 8,000 seat multi-sport stadium complex. I don't know if we have any aerial photos of it. We had some pretty good drone imagery of the stadium complex. And it's going to have 8,000 seats, a electronic scoreboard that's 40 feet, a press box is dedicated to radio, television, live stream broadcasts. There's 2 dedicated football practice fields, a soccer field, and a track facility. And I think that obviously it's going to benefit the athletics programs at SADDLEBACK College, no question about it. And they are, we have top athletic programs at SADDLEBACK and Irvine Valley. Mm-hmm. We transfer a lot of student athletes to four-year universities who often get on scholarships there. Right. But it's also going to be used for the community. So now for community events and also high school athletics. So Santa Margarita High School had already played their football games there at SADDLEBACK. So we're really, this is the community's facility. It's available for high school athletics, for CIF, athletic play. Other high schools will be able to use it, other community events. It's really it's literally decades in the making, and we have alumni who are, who are so proud of where it was and where it is today, because they remember what it was like. I don't know if you ever went to the old stadium. I mean, there weren't any even restrooms that were really accessible. You had to
Yeah, you know, like run out, and I know.
long distances. Now we don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah. Oh,
So
that's good.
the only thing is we don't know when we're going to be able to do a proper ribbon cutting.
Exactly. No, that makes sense. I mean, gosh, won't it be great if maybe after I don't know if it'll happen before the end of the year, but if it's after the first of the year, let's just, go 2020 away and 2021, then you can have a really big blowout.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a great point. I mean, we want the community to be aware this is now complete, but we also want to be able to use it and have a proper recognition ceremony.
Okay, well, keep us posted on that one for sure. And then a couple of other little things here. You've got there's a free Orange County bus rides for students. So who qualifies for that, and why did you think that was important to have?
Yeah, because we know that one of the costs for students that is a hardship for them is transportation. So in order to address that hardship, and I really give credit to our associated student governments, they took the lead in reaching out to Orange County Transportation Authority. They've been working on helping students get to campus and get to classes. Obviously, now there's not a lot of traffic on campus, but eventually there will be. Mm-hmm. And I think having, the ability to get to class really mitigates the financial hardship for many of our students who have, not only the cost of having a vehicle, but also gasoline costs as well, and just maintenance costs of using, your vehicle, because we don't have any housing on campus. All of our students are commuting from one form or another, whether it's, their parents' home or their home or their own apartment, or they have roommates. They have to get to campus in some way or another. So having this available to them free of charge is really significant.
Yeah.
And our students, they really drove this process, and so it's very impressive what they're able to do.
That is awesome. And then you guys have
available. So it's available to all students, not just the full-time, part-time, even the non-credit students. Like when I took a class last spring, I could have utilized it.
Hey, then you don't have to worry about parking.
I agree with that.
Because that that can be challenging at any college. Let's talk about a new addition you have.
Yes, so this is pretty significant for your viewers to know. So we have a chancellor who's our CEO of the community college district. We have almost 3,000 employees, over 1,000 part-time, full-time faculty, $400 million operating budget. So it's a significant entity. But we have our two colleges, Saddleback College and Irvine Valley College, and each college has a president. And we're very pleased that we've hired Dr. John Hernandez. He's recently started at Irvine Valley College. Mm-hmm. He's come from a neighboring college, Santiago Canyon.
Okay.
There are 4 community college districts in Orange County, so he came from the Rancho Santiago Community College District. And I think he's going to be great. I mean, the thing is, we started the interview process in person and then completed it online. He showed the ability to understand what the great things that are happening at an IVC, like the transfer rates are in the top 5 in the state. Our students are, have a number of cooperative work programs with local businesses. But I think he also understands that there's going to be adaptation, because he's coming in the midst of COVID-19. And I think it's really, I think he has a strategic view of education for the future. There are going to be some classes that are going to remain online. There's going to be some that will remain hybrid. There's some that will go back to full-time in-class usage. And I think he's taking a look at that. And I think he understands there's challenges and there's opportunities, definitely more opportunities, because they're both great colleges, and IVC is just one of the jewels of our community. To have affordable education like that in the heart of Irvine, and our students benefit from having the access to that kind of education. So I think John gets it, and I think he's going to be a fantastic addition to IVC.
Yeah, well, that's really great that you're able to secure somebody like him. Really quick, because we're out of time, just do a real quick thing about the students that you wanted to tell me about that did a food drive.
Yeah, so we have, what's great is that there are food pantries at both colleges. So we have one of the issues I mentioned was transportation. There's also food insecurity as well. And so I don't know the students personally, but I'm aware of what they've been doing, and it's really awesome. I mean, they're going out to local farmers asking for donations, and I mean, collecting over $3,000 in food and giving it to that rescue mission. The OC, rescue mission is one of our partners that we work with at the district. So I mean, that's amazing. And both IVC and SADDLEBACK have their own food pantries. So if you get a chance, you should really take a tour see what they're doing there.
Yeah.
I mean, in the past, SADDLEBACK College has had a farmer's market once a month that's available for the community for food and fruit and vegetables that are free of charge to the community. So, I mean, it's really awesome. Our students, look, they have big hearts. They want to help people. And when COVID happened, they stepped up even more than they normally have. So,
all right.
So proud of them.
Well, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much for the update. I really appreciate it. And we'll touch base with you guys again.
Thanks again. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
And we'll be right back after this.
Get your vote by mail ballot?
You can stay healthy and fill it out from the safety of home.
Or you can fill it out anywhere.
It's easy to mail back. You don't even need a stamp.
Or you could use an official drop box.
You can even drop it off at the polls.
Then track it to confirm your county got it. See? They got it.
Mail ballots are the simple, safe, and secure way to ensure that your vote is counted.
Welcome back. Just a quick minute here to tell you about some things. We've got Behind the Classics tomorrow, or actually it's today, To Kill a Mockingbird. It is put on by Age Well, and it's a $10 participation fee, and it's today at 7 p.m. So if you want to check that out, you can sign up at theosiegel@gmail.com. And then also this Thursday, they're having the Great California Shakeout Drill, and I wanted to just remind you that it's October 15th at 10:15 in the morning, and we'll tell you a little bit more about that tomorrow. And today's weather is going to be very hot, so stay hydrated. Our weather, we are looking at 94, 67 today, and throughout the rest of the week, it is going to be very warm. So we want you to stay hydrated and take into consideration that there is a heat advisory for this week. All right after our morning program, we have the board meeting coming up, so stay tuned for that. Have a great day in the village. We'll see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.
RadNet is the nation's largest outpatient medical imaging network, providing thousands of imaging procedures each day. RadNet has recently been asked by local hospitals to help provide outpatient imaging services for their patients, and RadNet is committed to supporting those needs. We are available to take your calls and schedule your appointments. To schedule an appointment online, visit myradiologyconnectportal.com or visit our website at radnet.com.
Tip. Toss. Take action. Don't give mosquitoes a fighting chance.